going on? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. And welcome back into the Ryan Ripken Show. And just as a reminder, it's Ryan Ripken Show Season 2 or 2.0. We have new show times, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, roughly around 2:30 Eastern time, as we are bringing you an extra day of coverage and a whole lot more for this upcoming season. We can't give all of that information away to you just yet, but it is good to be back. Show number 2. And Zach, we are 2 for 2 on being on time. Operation in 2025. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, bud. Big. You know what? Back to back. People were wondering what season 2 is going to bring so far. Like Laura said, second day in a row on time. People are asking if we've changed. People are asking if a new leaf has been turned over at Ryan Ripken Media. We'll see. You know, we're just taking it one day at a time. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. Our goal is to be on time tomorrow. That's all we care about. Yeah, my favorite show is the next one.
It is. But for right now, your favorite show is this one now because we got a whole lot to talk about, Zach. I mean, look, we're obviously going to get into some Orioles news. And specifically yesterday, as the show was ending, there was some roster moves or roster cuts yesterday. And there was a lot of conversation around one of the Orioles' top prospects, Coby Mayo. We'll dive into that. We're also going to look at a couple other things as the series in Tokyo wrapped up. Roki Sasaki made his MLB debut in his home country. Going to do a breakdown of that as well. And then, Zach, I appreciate the MLB is trying some new things, but I got to say, sometimes it can just be too much. And we're talking about some of these replays. If you've been seeing them float around on social media, we got our poll of the day as always. We got March Madness that is here. Started last night.
Yeah, talk about what a start.
What a start.
First game. I mean, I haven't seen a Hail Mary like that work since Washington versus Chicago. I'm sure Tyreek Stevenson was somewhere hating that, watching it go down. I'm sure he just gets flashbacks every time a Hail Mary in some sport works.
Yeah, we haven't seen that in years. And by years, you mean about 6 months.
Yeah,
5 months.
Exactly.
October?
Feels like forever ago, but also like football feels like it was 6 years ago, but also feels like it was last week, which is just, I mean, it also still feels like the Orioles are playing in September right now. I mean, time's flying right now.
Shirts and pants, man. Shirts and pants. Well, we are going to talk a little bit of March Madness. We're going to have some of our upset picks, and then we'll kind of wrap up with a couple other notes just around sports. There is a official proposal to ban the tush push and some great jersey selections and superstitions to kind of wrap in this. And if we got enough time, we'll get into our call-ins maybe today. Ooh. Depends on time. Don't hate us. And the only reason I'm saying that, Zach, this is how we're going to open it up before the Orioles conversation. We're going up to our good old friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Man, beautiful. Why are we doing that? The March Madness continues. Thursday and Friday are the prime days. We are there tomorrow. We're going to going live roughly around 12:30. And we have a special guest, Gary Williams, Maryland legend, is going to join us in the afternoon when we get the exact time. Check social media, check YouTube, check the Discord so you guys are aware of when we have that. And at the moment, we got Ben Verlander then joining us later on around 2:30 roughly, I think is our time for that. We'll keep you posted. Maybe some other guests join, but it truly is one of the best hoop days, one of the best sport days, Thursday afternoon into the evening, into Friday morning. It is going to be electric. So we'll see you up there. And there's a chance for giveaways. We'll explain about that a little bit later on as we move into our March Madness coverage. But thank you, our friends up at Hollywood Casino in Charlestown, West Virginia. Okay. Boom. Let's get into a little bit of the O's news now. And I know a lot of people let us know where you're tuning in from. We would have had a chance to talk about this yesterday, but it was kind of developing. And the reason why we're only talking about this is that the Orioles had to make decisions with roster cuts. I don't think there's a surprise of what happened. And what we're talking about specifically, Coby Mayo and Sam Basayo were sent down or optioned down to minor league camp. So they're not going to start the year with the big league team, which wasn't really expected, Zach. You know, Sam, no shot. Coby, outside chance, but you're looking at an injury Because here's the business side first. You got to choose who you're going to give at bats to. And right now, with the position that Kobe plays, third, first, maybe some DH, wasn't really a spot available with Mountcastle, O'Hearn, and Jordan Westburg. Now, I think what stirred people was a quote that was out there from Kobe Mayo, Zach.
Yes.
And so I'll read this out loud, and we'll talk about this more in depth. Here it is. Kobe on being sent down. It definitely is difficult. It obviously sucks because you feel like you've proven everything you needed to, and sometimes doesn't feel like it's quite enough. Obviously, you go back there, and if you have success, it's, oh, he's supposed to have success because he's already proven it. And if he doesn't have success, it's, oh, well, obviously he's fallen off. It's kind of a lose-lose going to Norfolk. Now, there was certain backlash from this, Zach, where people were thinking of, oh, that's the wrong mentality, right? Let's give the story of this.
Yeah.
There was people that were upset at Kobe's quote-unquote attitude. That's where I think it started. And the reality for me is, Zach, I look at a guy that's more frustrated. But do you have an opening thought, and I can chime in with my overall opinion?
I would like people who are upset about the comment to show me where he was wrong. That's it's a simple question like that. Where was he wrong? Because I'll tell you something. The second he goes out there and has a 2-home run game, all of Orioles Twitter is going to be talking about how Mike Elias is stupid, how he's already proven everything in AAA. You know, it's just dumb that he's just wasting his career. I even saw someone say he's wasting his prime, which I was like, I hope this isn't his prime. I hope for Kobe's sake he can develop. And I'm sure Kobe will tell you he's hoping this isn't his prime. He hopes to develop even more. But then if Kobe goes down there and he starts off 3 for 25, 2 for 16, whatever it may be, all of Twitter, all of media will be like, ooh, it won't be about is Kobe Mayo ready anymore? The conversation is probably going to be, did the Orioles miss their chance to trade him at his best value? Yeah. Oh, he's clearly not this top guy anymore because he's struggling 18 at-bats into the AAA season. Clearly he's got to go. The Orioles missed their train. Kobe's a bust. He was right. It is a lose-lose for him. Does that mean it was the wrong decision by the Orioles? No, because as I said yesterday, the 26-man roster is a facade of, oh, it's the 26 best players. No, you have to build a team. And that means, guys, do I think in the long run Kobe is more talented than a Ramon Arias? Yeah. Do I think Kobe can do what Ramon does and sit on a bench for 4 straight days and then come off it, having not swung in an action game in 5 days? And have to hit in the biggest part of the game with the bases loaded and come through? No, I think that's what Ramon has proven his value is. So it's not all about what the talent is. So for Kobe, it sucks. It sucks for both sides because I'm sure the Orioles would love to have a spot for him. I'm sure they would love for there to be a 10th position added in the field where they could put him in to get that bat in and let him play for 160 games. But that's not what it is.
No.
The Orioles have to try to win. Kobe, unfortunately, was just the odd man out. And that's, when you're that stacked at so many positions, you talk about O'Hearn, about Mountie, where are those guys going to go? So he was right. It is a lose-lose. And I think it's a lose-lose for everyone involved because Orioles made the right decision. They had to, but it doesn't mean it sucks any less for a guy like Kobe.
So I'm going to really dive into this now. And you're right with this. And before I continue on in my whole explanation, I just want to say with that, if players say that out loud or they give you the politically correct answer, they're thinking, what do I need to do? And it's not that he's not going to go work his ass off. So I will get into my explanation here in a second. But Brandon Hyde then was asked about this. So I want to play the Brandon Hyde clip about Kobe getting sent down or just players in general starting in AAA. Let's play that clip, and then I'm really going to get into this conversation.
That's what happens when you have good teams. Good teams option players that they like, and how Kobe ended his camp well. I thought he swung about well this last week, and so we're happy about his performance, especially this last week of spring training and the improvements he's made defensively at both spots. We still feel like there's things he can work on, but we're sensitive to the fact that going to AAA isn't what anybody wants to do, but it's part of the game.
Part of the game. So, all right, let's let me really digest this, okay? And I've said this before, Zach, but for everyone that hasn't heard me talk about this, and Connor Norby, actually, former Oriole, now with the Marlins, alluded to this about guys are going into spring training working on something, and this is the only time that you can work on something. Because in the regular season, that is where you are truly judged. When you're at a position of being a high prospect or you're on the doorstep of the big leagues and you know that you're going to a team, spring training is exactly the place where you can try to, quote unquote, work on something. So I could give two shits, Zach, about what Kobe Mayo was doing in the spring. But was his spring going to dictate if he was going to have a chance to make a team? Yeah, his spring was going to have to matter more than a guy like Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Cedric Mullins, anyone that already is established. They could go hitless, and it's not going to change the perception or the outlook for them on the roster. Why? Because of their big league record, of what they've done in the regular season. And Kobe Mayo, nothing changes my opinion about Kobe in the spring. If he hit 480, it's not going to change my opinion if he hit one for 45, because the regular season matters. And where he's frustrated to get this whole thing around, Kobe in the last 2 years, between AAA and AA, or AA and AAA in 2023, he had 29 jacks on the year and overall combined to hit 290. Then last year in Norfolk, hit 293 when he had a rehab stint, and had another 25 jacks on the year. 3 were down in rehab, but 22 in AAA. So he's going, my bat, it's ready. So that's where he's frustrated with. But to the business side of it, and I went back to this earlier when I started off this conversation, the Orioles need to make a decision on who they're going to give their at-bats to. And they got to look at their outlook of the team, because this isn't a rebuilding team anymore. This is a team that everyone out there is expecting to win right now.
Says in 2022.
Exactly. And Cedric Mullins, when he was on, said, even though I think that's very challenging to play on a losing team, the pressure is not there to be up there and immediately have success, especially when you're a top-rated prospect like Kobe, like Jackson, which will be Sam Basayo, Colton Cowser, Jordan Westberg. The list goes on and on. And by the way, Colton Cowser, Jordan Westberg, those guys were pushed aside when they came up to the big leagues. So remember that. Ryan O'Hearn is an established big leaguer. Ryan O'Hearn is one of the grittiest hitters on the team. You need him. The Ryan Mountcastle slander, I don't. If you don't think Mountie has the ability to hit 25, 30 jacks,
call someone in Toronto.
Seriously, they'll gladly accept him. They'll clear him of all worries at the border. He has free access that they let him go up there to Toronto. But in all seriousness, Ryan Mountcastle is an all-star type bat. And I think Mountie's going to have an unbelievable year. I truly do.
I don't think people also understand the health aspect with Mountie, because when he's healthy, first, when you can tell he's dealing with something, whether it's the vertigo, whether it's the back, whatever it may be over the past few seasons, I don't think people quite understand. And I've talked about this pretty much going into the past 2 seasons. We've seen Ryan Mountcastle, I'm not even going to say win a game for them. We've seen him carry them to games where that athletics game where he had 11 RBIs, that doesn't just happen. You have to be a damn good player to be able to hit 3 home runs in a game over Walt. Like, he's got that talent where when Ryan Mountcastle is healthy, one, the bat now with the wall, in a little bit more, we're going to see the power, I think, go up. The power alleys there. Just mentally, I think it's going to be better for him. But something that I just do not see enough of is Gunnar Henderson last season it's no secret, had some struggles with errors. There was, some throwing errors, stuff like that. Jackson Holiday early on, there were some issues. There probably could have been 10 more each if it wasn't for Ryan Mountcastle saving everyone's ass at first base. The defensive prowess that he has developed into, if you watched him last year, he was a Gold Glove-esque first baseman. He picked everything. He's making insane plays. It just all around. When Ryan Mountcastle is healthy, I think because it's that new shiny toy syndrome, Mountcastle at one point was the prized possession of the Orioles minor league system.
Yeah.
It was Ryan Mountcastle and the rest. Now they got the Gunners, the Adleys, everyone coming up, and it's like, oh, Yeah, Ryan Mountcastle. Ryan Mountcastle has proven that he can be a force in this lineup. I saw a projection of him batting 8th in the Orioles lineup. Just a quick thing. Do you understand how insane and deep a lineup is if Ryan Mountcastle is batting 8th? It's just, people need to understand how big of an impact he truly is, because I see people trade him away, just give Mayo the keys. You're going to see a big difference.
You know what he did when he's played more than 140 games?
What's that?
The minimum is he's hit 22 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, or in 2023, he had the vertigo situation. He still finished with 18 in 115 games. Last year, he played 124, and he was a little bit injured and banged up. He had 13. But for 2 years, 33 and 22. And they moved the wall back, and he had the issues with vertigo and being injured. Mountie was the best pure hitter I saw when I came through the organization when I was there. Before, obviously, Gunnar came in and Adley and the whole rest of the group. But at that time, Ryan Mountcastle was a highly touted bat throughout all of the minor leagues. And I think that time is coming this year. Now, I want to make this clear. When people were saying about earn it, Joe Isaiah, Brooks, I'm not like Kobe. This isn't me talking about that. Yeah, there wasn't enough that Kobe, even if they had the opening, I'm not going to say that he quote unquote earned the job. But the point is, spring training to me can earn you an immediate job, but what you do in the regular season is whether you're going to stay or not. Let's do a recent example. Jackson Holiday hit pretty damn well last year in the spring, and people were saying he needed to break camp. He didn't. Went to the minors and soon came up, and we knew what happened. Now, how it all happened, that's up for debate, but a guy that had a really good spring and a rough go. Zach Love, a friend of the program. Zach, hopefully you're sleeping over there in Taiwan. I forget, former Oriole.
Yeah, I guess this would be, yeah. I'm going to go on a limb and say that.
Yeah. So you want to guess what Shohei Ohtani's first 2 spring trainings were average-wise?
Let's hear it.
Well, in 32 at bats, he was 4 for 32, no doubles, no triples, no home runs, 1 RBI, 10 punchies, hit 125. 2020, 3 for 24 with a 125 average, and once again, 0 extra base hits. So I think Ohtani turned out fine and everything's okay. Yeah, spring trainings, I just want to get this out of the way. A spring training does not mean you're going to have success during the regular season. Because if that was the case, then damn, sometimes I might have been one of the best players, and I certainly wasn't. I had one teammate, Zach, that had 13 home runs in spring training.
That was what's his name? Was that the catcher? Was it Fox?
No, well, Fox did that too. That's a good point. I was saying one of my minor league teammates hit 13 in the minors. He's got a lot of pop. He never got past A ball with the Orioles. So my point is, it's not going to guarantee that you're going to have success. But I want to get it out of the head. Kobe has the right to be frustrated as a competitor. That's what I just want to say with this. Now, in the time being, he's going to have to wait his opportunity, and that's the frustrating part. But I guarantee an opportunity will come about. Just depends on what it's going to be. And that opportunity also, Zach, this is not trying to be like, being mysterious. Opportunity could be in Baltimore. Opportunity could be elsewhere. That's just the nature of the business, man. But don't fault a guy for being human and saying something that any player in his situation would be feeling the same exact way. So that's all I got to say about that. Shout out Connor Norby for explaining that as well. Talk about an O that I think is going to former O that's going to ball out this year.
I would love to have him back on. I still have to play him in NHL. We gotta get something sorted out for that. And then, just to kind of finish it up with the Ohtani thing. I remember people were like, after that first spring training, we're like, this is the savior of baseball. He's atrocious. Like, he's bad. He can't hit. He can't pitch. And I remembered so clearly because I was one of them. I was like, this is the savior. I was sitting there 18 years old. I'm like, this guy? I was like, this guy's supposed to be, he can't even hit pitching here.
You know what he hit that year?
What did he hit?
He hit 285 with 22 jacks in his rookie year.
Yeah, and then what? He probably pitched and it's spring training doesn't mean anything. It genuinely, I love that Norby played. He was like, you literally go out there and you're like, okay, does this work? Oh, that did not work. Okay, we're trying something else this next at bat. Does this work? Maybe. Okay, let's try it again this next at bat. Okay, maybe a little bit. Oh, never mind, not working. Next thing. It's not about, and I love the part where he's like, you cannot replicate the energy and everything around. He's like, you can say, hey, this matters all you want. Players know it doesn't.
Yeah, and also, again, it's guys in Kobe's shoes. That was in it, Connor Norby's shoes. Guys that have shown in the regular season a sample size of coming back to spring where they know they're going to a team. Now you're in a situation where you could be cut or you don't know you're standing. I've been in those situations, Zach. It's a lot more stressful because you are literally, your career is on the line. Kobe's career is not on the line right now. The spring training of 30, 40 at bats is not going to dictate or define what he's going to end up being in the big leagues. Because if that was the case, there'd be a whole lot of players in baseball that would not have had the careers that they did, or vice versa. So and we could go on.
And final thing, the average age of Major League Baseball player, I just looked up, is 28.6 years old. Kobe Mayo just turned 23 in December. He is young. He is going to develop. And just like the O's, he is fine. Just got to let these guys develop. Everyone's saying, oh, we're just wasting his career. He is 23 years old. He just turned 23.
And also in my mind, he might have had the perfect spring training and still not made the team.
Yeah.
And that's the point. It's not about saying that he earned the spot. It's just giving context of people put too much weight on freaking spring training. Because you know what? Corbin Burns, he was terrible last year, wasn't he?
God,
he had an awful spring.
That was we want to talk about all-time moments on just Twitter was when people threw in the towel on Corbin Burns.
It actually grinds my gears when we get so invested with spring trainings. Spring trainings can leave great impressions for young players, but what they do in the regular season, in the minors, and going to the bigs, that's what's going to separate them to have a career. I digress. I'm done. But you know what we're not done with? Sounds like Rip has the right mindset for spring training. Run it back. Dude, I would. But I'll tell you what, I've been in those situations where I'm like, man, if I don't play well, I'm done. Actually, you want me to explain a story here? Because I'm a little bit off. People love the unhinged.
Let's do it.
Let me explain a story. And this is where I sucked in 2016. Came back from ankle injury, had personal things going on outside of baseball, and then I could not figure out how to hit to save my life. I couldn't even hit off a tee at times. I was so mentally in a bad headspace that I didn't know what to do. So I had a terrible year, and I was going into spring training, finally got my mind clear, Zach, going into 2017. And I had a good spring. I was hitting the ball well, spraying it around, and I was trying to find a spot. But people got to understand, especially in the minor leagues or especially in the big leagues, 90-some% of the roster's already figured out. So in this case, in 2016, and I knew this, like I had the feeling, the Nats were going to release me regardless. The only reason I was there for a little bit longer was because of if someone got hurt. And I look back, and that can be frustrating, but were they going to worry about my 20 at-bats in spring training? No. They were looking at, how did I do last year? He didn't do well last year. We're moving on, and this is what our teams are going to be at each level. And that's the reality of the business. For the Baltimore Orioles, they have an idea of who's on their roster already, and it's 95% complete going into spring training. Every team's is. And then there's a couple positions that are up for grabs, but I want to give that context there. And so, because I think that's important. It might not be fair, but that is the truth. There are some great storylines. The Yankees, J.C. Escara, former Oriole minor leaguer, was my teammate. He's fighting to be the backup catcher for the Yankees. That's a spot that is wide open, right? John Means, when he made the team a few years ago, I guess longer than a few years ago, John Means was fighting for a final bullpen spot. Just like on this Orioles team, they're fighting for who is going to be one of those final guys in the rotation. There's a couple spots here and there, but it doesn't mean you just go out there and kick the door down at a position that's already taken up. Like, that's just saying, imagine you have a third baseman that's really good, but Manny Machado's there. Are you going to put him over Manny?
No.
Hell no. Is that fair? You can be the one to judge, but that is just how the business works. So that's all I got to say about that. enough is enough on the spring training because it's a regular season, Zach. Opening day happened, which we know.
No. We're back to spring training. That's the issue.
No, well, opening day. So regular season just ended.
Yeah, actually,
and we're back.
We went spring training, regular season, and now we're back spring training. So it's baseball,
sports.
Woo,
sports. But I guess what here, and we're gonna get to the Sasaki breakdown here in just a few minutes. Dodgers still on pace for 162-0.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani had a pretty big game. It's a big series overall.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese faithful got their money's worth with their stars out there, but Ohtani being the one, he hit a home run far and deep and possibly fan interference, but it's a home run.
They were not calling that fan interference in that stadium.
Dude, I saw
the second that I also love that the announcer like, yep, Ohtani goes into second with they're just telling him to keep going. They're just going to tell him to keep going. And everyone's like, I don't know if that was a home run. And everyone was like, no, that's a home run. Let's not do anything. That's a home run. Let's keep it moving.
I would have. Sorry, there was one thing I saw here from Pigtown about trying to get out of a slump with the slump buster, and that got me very distracted.
I was going to bring it up, but I had a feeling it'd get distracted.
Yeah, yep, exactly. But overall here, I was saying did you see the comment from a Yankee fan on X? It was Torres's home run in the World Series was a fan interference.
Yeah.
And he goes, if this is an interference in this game, and it was the 9th inning tie game with the Dodgers and Yanks game 1. And I'm like, you know what? I get it. It's just a regular season, spring training-esque game. Don't worry about it. Just game 2 of the season. But actually, that's not the part that had people talking, at least for me. I think everyone, if you're on social media, you are seeing these 360 replays. I thought it's an animation, Zach.
It is something.
I got to be honest. The first one I think we both saw was Dansby Swanson's one.
Yeah,
where I didn't know what was happening at the time.
I thought it was a AI recreation of a play, and then I was like, "Oh, this is." They're going with this? Oh, we have it.
Can we pull one of those up?
Yeah. Let's go the entire.
This is one of those today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that the third base coach just disappears right there.
So is this actually, I mean this genuinely, Zach, is that actually them or it's
supposedly in the Tokyo Dome. They have, I guess they've set up hundreds of cameras, and it's one of those things where they are taking every angle at once and putting them together to do some sort of AI put together. Literally look at the guy in the on deck circle just disappeared.
And the third base coach.
Yeah, like it's just
into another time-space continuum.
Listen, I think this is one of those perfect examples of just because you can, just because we have the capability to do it, does not mean it needs to happen. And I love MLB keeps posting these with the captions of
they're sick.
They're like, can't get enough of these angles. And if you go to the comments, they're like, can we please stop this? So just because you have the ability to do something doesn't mean you should. Between the Dansby one, the Shohei homer, like just all of them, it literally looks like MLB The Show.
Well, and I would rather just be a slow-mo replay from the side angle and Ohtani making contact than just trying to switch it around as it's happening. It just doesn't seem realistic to me. I don't know. I'm all about new ideas. So I give MLB applause on trying something. But I'll tell you what, man, just show me more slow-mo replays and show me fans' reactions in the stands of just utter chaos or those organic, unhinged moments that you see around the field. Give me all of that. You can keep this AI MLB The Show.
Yeah, let's go real
getting
quick.
Warped into a different space.
Yeah, so here is the Shohei one. This is just, there's no need for this. Like, look at the ball. The ball is literally like 9 different pieces. And then, like, look at the catcher. I don't know. I just, personally.
It's almost like in some cases when it's saying, if you watch a documentary or history and it goes like, this is what historians, if we recreated, this is what it would look like.
Yeah,
back in 2025, a Shohei Ohtani home run. You know what? If that was the case and we had no footage, I'd go, damn, that's pretty cool. That's great.
Like they got it. Like that's so cool.
But wait a minute, do we actually have footage?
Yeah,
let's just show that.
Yeah,
footage.
It looks normal. And how about we just get back to like, oh, here's the home run. Hey, this is it from this angle. This is this from this angle. We don't need to do all one video, combining angles, making it AI look. It just, like you said, just show us the replay.
Just show us the replay.
Do you think they on the AI thing had the fan interfere? They wouldn't show that angle. Like they cut the fan out, have it go over the wall.
Well, just like
in 6
disappear.
years, they're gonna rewrite history and they're gonna start showing that, and it's gonna somehow go over the wall. They're gonna be like, yeah, and Shohei hit a 500-foot home run in the Tokyo Dome, and we're gonna be like, wait a second,
it's just gonna go away, and then it's gonna put a marker 500.
Yeah,
like wait a minute,
yeah. Like, yeah, trust us on this. It went that far.
Is off. Is it? Maybe they measure in meters, right, over there instead of feet.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it was messed up.
Yeah, that's what was messing up.
Tomato here, but the Dodgers are 2-0. It's a really good team. They had their stars out there playing. I guess no Mookie Betts, but Ohtani did his thing. Yamamoto last night, and Sasaki made his MLB debut, and I'm going to break that down here in a second. But before I do that, it's a good time to take a quick ride as I get ready for the breakdown on our Adams Jeep of Maryland, because, Zach, we love them. They are our OG sponsor. Appreciate them. We have some fun things that are going on with them throughout the season. As you guys always know, beep, beep, I'm a Jeep. And if you go up there and buy a new or used car, and you say you love the Ryan Ripken Show or Rocco Sucks, get $1,000 in gas money with purchase of the vehicle. We might have some things cooking when it comes to Orioles victories with Adams Jeep. So once again, beep, beep, I'm a Jeep, AdamsJeepofMaryland.com. Check it out for everything you need to do with cars. And if you need service, doesn't have to be in the market for buying a vehicle. But you know what? I am going to now get up, Zach.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Ooh.
Getting up.
Yeah.
Actually, don't watch this.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to watch, man, if you could just put that camera down like we did yesterday. We don't have Kevin to do our sneaky behind-the-scenes stuff right now, so I'm just going to talk everyone through it. Yeah, so if you just put that, yeah, make sure you're, oh, yeah, the mic definitely works.
Unique New York.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Ow, now, brown cow.
So, yeah, this,
do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Is this out of the way?
Well, should.
Yeah. Am I out of the way? Oh,
yeah.
Do I look
as good as you can?
As good as I can. Come on now. See, this is also why I like getting up and moving around, and these pants are very, very flexible overall here. But I wanted to take a moment here to break down a little bit with what was happening with Roki Sasaki. This was one of the most anticipated MLB debuts we have seen. The Japanese star, you could tell he was amped up. And why wouldn't he be? He's making his MLB debut, and he's doing it in his home country on the defending World Series champions. I mean, it's really, what more could you ask for a young pitcher? And Zach, he was coming out of the gates hot. Everyone knows with his scouting report, he can throw some fuzz. Yeah. How about the first three pitches here? If I can get it rocking. Here we go. First three pitches, just a little 100 piece. 1, 2, that's painted. And 3. So, look, he's amped up, and he should be, right? You're finally having a chance to live out your dream, and that is to pitch in the MLB and everything I talked about. So his insides are running. And in this game, there were some positives. Let's go through the first positive, though, and we'll kind of go back and forth on this. And this is that he got his first strikeout against Suzuki, who, again, it's a big milestone for him. But 98, you're going to see this ball just keep running in. Great location. And when you have that type of stuff and that type of fuzz, this ball is very hard to hit. I mean, that's an excellent pitch right there. So, again, the stuff is not in question for Sasaki. But when you're sped up inside, that's where you can have problems. So here's an example right here. On the day, he had 5 walks, okay? 5 walks. There's one right there. And really, if you looked at it, only one of the 5 walks actually got to 6 pitches, right? So 5 pitches or less, and it was mainly with the fastball splitter combination, just a little bit erratic. And as everyone knows, and if you don't know, I'll explain it for a second. When you are sped up inside, your body wants to get moving a lot quicker than it needs to be. And hence, it can be a little bit more erratic. And especially for a young pitcher like Sasaki, that's normal. He only gave up 1 hit on the game, but the 1 earned run was because of the walks. And the 1 hit was an infield single. Now, I do want to point out there was 2 line drives and 2 line outs just to say, okay, they had some swings. But overall, hard to hit Sasaki. Went 3 innings, only 25 strikes, 56 total pitches. So obviously erratic on the day. But let me talk about some really good moments for him. Because this is where, when you're looking at trying to get through trouble, okay? So there we're going back. Down. Nice. So that walked in a run. And you can tell it's frustrated. But the beauty of what Sasaki can do is his stuff can get him out of situations. And you're going to see right now, in general, of just how good some of his pitches can be. So here's the example. This is in the 3rd inning. Bases juiced. All right. The dude throws a absolute laser beam of a fastball. And look how much he can paint this here on the corner. All right. So again, bases juiced. This game could go a lot of different ways. And what does Sasaki do? Paints it on the corner for strike 3. So there it is. Fastball is his weapon. It sets up everything else that he wants to do. All right. So there's a situation we just talked about. It's already hard enough to catch up with 97, 98, 100. So imagine you have that working for you, and then you can break off your off speed. And in this case right now, you're thinking fastball and it's going, all right, you're waiting for that kind of rise, which has kind of been the case. And especially if you're a hitter, you feel like you got to cheat. Well, imagine then all of a sudden this ball is not going to rise. And as it's coming towards home plate, imagine, I'll do it this way. It just goes and then just wipes down. So in this case right here, 2 strikes, get out of the jam. He's thinking fastball is going to go up here, and all of a sudden, it just is going to drop right down into the zone for strike 3. A nice little sweeper action. Look, this guy just knows what he's doing. Now, one thing I do want to point out, though, his splitter is one of those pitches that is just absolutely devastating, but he didn't have it working for him yesterday. So if I can get one more of the splitter going here, I'll get it, the grip, to give you a closer angle. Okay, let's see if we can get a clear angle there. That's actually a nice little shot of the baseball. So right there coming out of the hand, true splitter grip. So you can see finger here, finger there. Comfortability to be able to throw that. It's not an easy pitch to throw, but when he's able to throw that, it almost can look like a changeup, but also it's like a changeup, sinker, and a knuckleball type sensation. That's at least what people are describing his as having a little knuckleball and die to it. So this pitch might end up being his best pitch that he has in his arsenal, but it's hard for this to execute properly when your fastball command is erratic. Doesn't that kind of sound familiar when you look around the league? And Zach, who's got a great splitter in baseball? He's a closer, and he's coming back this year for the Baltimore Orioles.
I'd believe that's Felix Bautista.
That is correct. Felix Bautista, 2-pitch guy, fastball splitter. So if you're able to do that right, it can be one of the most devastating combos in all of baseball. And lastly, though, right here, I just wanted to point this out. Roki Sasaki had his MLB debut patch. Topps does a 1-of-1. So that is going off the jersey into a card that Sasaki will sign, and that's going to go out for auction. Can you imagine what that's going to sell for?
This is going to make
a lot of money.
Paul Skeens is one look like pennies. I mean, this has potential to be probably the best selling card patch of all time, at least in the moment, because of just you literally with Paul Skeens, obviously you're competing with everyone in America. everyone in Japan's going to want this. This card is going to be, if you pull it, congratulations, your life has changed.
Yeah, you can take that straight to auction, and you are feeling good. But overall, again, Sasaki, the upside of what he can do, well, the upside is he can be one of the best pitchers in baseball. I think he's ready, but what we're going to continue to watch here is, was it more anxiety to start off, which is my opinion. I think he was jacked up, excited for all the reasons I explained. Insides are rolling and running high. I think he's going to end up making this Dodgers team. Zach, to be honest, if this Dodgers team stays healthy, they should win the World Series. That's how good they are. And this is his ceiling. We talked about Yamamoto possibly being in the Cy Young conversation this year.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying this year for Sasaki, but that's his ceiling, is yet another Cy Young possibility already on a loaded Dodgers team. So that's the breakdown for the day. And as always, if you like the breakdown, hit that like and subscribe button. If you like the leg kick too, hit that like and subscribe button.
Please don't hit the leg kick.
Yeah, no, hit the leg kick.
You know what? I'm glad I didn't get that one.
Oh, you should have. Actually, it wasn't as good. It wasn't as good. Could have been better.
Could have been. So yeah, that was I'm intrigued, Rip, when you get back we can talk about it a little more. If I don't think this is what Dodgers fans were hoping for. As they were selfishly probably hoping he goes out there, throws 5 scoreless, get in and out, look dominant. Probably weren't thinking 56 pitches, only 25 strikes. But I think, like you said, I'm more intrigued as the season goes and the nerves disappear, because hell, you want to talk about nerves already? It's your major league debut. It's this much anticipated thing. Oh, by the way, you're doing it in the Tokyo Dome, where the entire world is like, okay, let's see what Roki can do. That was probably one of the most pressure-filled MLB debuts I can remember, solely because he's supposed to be this next great pitcher in Major League Baseball. He's in his home country making his debut, and I mean, that place was rocking for Roki. So yeah, I'm excited to see how he kind of goes past that and develops. But it was the stuff was there. If you look at the box score, you're not going to be impressed. But if you looked at the stuff and what he's able to do, the movement he has, I mean, touching 100 first 3 pitches, the kid's got the goods.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yes. And also wanted to extend a little bit to see more of the studio right now, at least the desk here. This little Orioles bird is vintage. But to your point, stuff is undeniable with Sasaki. Being able to sustain it and control it, that is going to be his challenge. But you're seeing at the big league level, that 97 to 100, that plays. That splitter plays. I think that sweeper right now is a great secondary pitch for him, and you saw that being the out pitch. And I know some people were saying that splitter was the one that, or was the pitch that got the final strikeout for him. But I went back and looked at it for a while, and then looked at how they charted it. It was the sweeper, and you could see it come out of the hand differently. But overall, Sasaki, good for him, amazing moment, and somebody who buys that card is going to make a lot of money. Not buy the card, whoever finds the card. That's like literally the golden ticket.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's sort of like Charlie and Chocolate Factory golden ticket. Yes, he's gonna, especially if he continues to pitch well, that's gonna go up very quickly.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any other cards. Maybe we'll have to have a show and a time just talking about stock up, stock down on certain things here, Zach. Well, while we are going to continue on with our coverage today, and Johnny, we're going to continue to talk about the Dodgers at points.
It's hard to ignore them.
It's hard to ignore them, but also we're going to talk about a lot of baseball here because we're baseball guys, and we're going to have a lot of baseball guests on. Wink. A lot of things that are happening here, so stay tuned. Before we get back into our scheduled programming, why don't we take a? Are you trying to take it off screen?
Yes, I also was taking it.
My bad. Let's. We've had a poll up for a while, Zach. So why don't we take a look at this poll here for a second, which I think I can find it again. There it is. What's the luckiest item you wear to keep your team winning? The options: unwashed jersey, crusty ball cap, socks you wear to every game, and lucky underwear. And so right now, at least, and guys continue to vote on that would be phenomenal. But right now, the one that's leading the charge is a crusty ball cap. I don't really change. Does everyone get a ton of hats? Even in pro ball, we can get more hats, but it's not like you're going and requesting a new hat every game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, yeah, if you're winning, I'm going to keep the hat on, but I would argue any of those things. Probably the unwashed jersey I wouldn't do.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Are we talking for fans or players? Because if this is for fans, then I'm a big, especially Ravens season. If the Ravens are winning, I'm not washing the jersey. But I'm not playing in it. Like, I don't know if that's very different besides me, actually playing the game in the jersey. I mean, then it would smell.
Yeah. Do you wash your jersey when you go to the softball?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that's also just because it's so hot out that I'm sweating anyway, even though I'm just sitting there. Just an uncomfortable sweat. It's not even like an active sweat. It is way too hot out at a Sunday at 10 a.m.
So you wash the jersey every time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just curious. Have you ever taken a shower in the jersey?
No, I've not. I'm assuming you have.
Yes, I have. I've had other teammates do that when they're in slumps or they're looking to get out of a slump. They've also tried some other different variations. I think why it's a great time to have this poll up is because Yankees' new closer, Devin Williams, was actually talking about this subject, about how superstitious he can be.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we play the clip of what he does if he has a scoreless outing?
Superstitious at all?
Yeah, very, actually. It's like little things, like I always put my left shoe on first, just specifically with the way I put my uniform on. Like when I get out of the shower, I do it the same way every day. The 2 sleeves that I wear, if I put up a 0, they don't get washed. If I go off runs, then they got to go in the wash. 21, I think. I had like 28 or 29 innings in a row. Yeah, so they were a little stinky by the end of that, but it worked. So, you got to do what you got to do.
I like it. It works.
It's not crazy if it works.
Yep. Got to do what you got to do. If it works for him, it works. If it gives him that extra confidence, I got the dirty sleeves on, I'm throwing another scoreless inning. If that gives you the confidence to go do it, hell, go do it.
Yeah. I've done my fair share of superstitious things, both some that you will never find out and some that you will find out. Just like the story I had with Cumbie down in spring training that I was talking about, that with the beard. I got convinced to keep my beard. And do you have that clip as well, Zach?
Yes, we do.
Let's pull that up real quick.
Back to, my time a little bit. Brett Cumberland, Cumbie is his name. And I was off to a little bit of a rough start. The beard was coming in. And I go, I might just have to shave, start over. And I just hear, no. And the Cumbie goes, dude, you look great. He goes, you look sexy.
Wow. Look good, feel good, play good, you pay good.
That beard has hits in it. And I go, I don't care about any of the things you just said before. Tell me about that last part.
Yeah.
He goes, have you seen me this spring training? I'm hitting the ball pretty good. It's all in the beard. You just got to believe it. That next game, your boy goes deep down the line. I get another hit. I get 2 hits. The next game, I hit 2 home runs. Get to high A, start off the year there, get off to a good start, hurt the OB. I ended up shaving it because then the juju was gone. Yeah. But then me and Cumbie are together in Double A again. And I go, Cumbie, sorry, I had to shave the beard. He goes, oh, yeah, all good, brother, man. You just got to go with what happens. I go, well, that's a very different tone. He goes, why? What did I say? And I said, you said the beard had hits.
Well, you told me that day at school.
He goes, I might have lied because I haven't had a hit in a month.
Oh, hell, Ricky, I was high when I said that.
But it's what you had to hear at that time, right? So when you talk about superstitions in the game of baseball, that was one for me.
I love it. It's what you had to hear at the time.
It really was. And that's what superstitions essentially are. It's convincing yourself at that time what's going to work for you. And it's a mindset. Like, that's why people do superstitions. It's not just a way of, I know that people say, oh, do you believe in coincidences? Or, oh, do you believe in being superstitious? It really don't matter to me. It's just you have something that can have your mind be in the right framework to go out there and have success. That's why people do superstitions. So your boy was struggling, and I just needed something to fixate on and believe besides me going in and putting work each and every day, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I remember that right after that, and I hit the home run. This relief fell over me, and I'm like, no shit, he might be on to something.
He was right. It's in the beard.
And then I had 2 home runs at Port Charlotte against the Rays, and I go, I will not be stopped. And I told Jamie the beard is never being shaved until I hit like 160 for the month coming back from the oblique injury. Then the beard lost its magic, right? Talking about a guy that also keeps his beard, though, when the Ravens were going. Didn't a wild Kevin Eistriker used to do that?
Yeah, he was trying to keep the beard going throughout the season, and then tragically had to shave at the end, obviously. So it's just a tough thing. You hate to see it.
And now he's got whatever else facial hair he's rocking with.
Yeah, Should we
yeah, we'll bring him on.
Hi, Kevin.
Yeah, it was definitely not tragic. I had to shave that. It was very good that I had to shave that.
So what do you consider this that you're wearing?
I don't know. It's probably coming off on I don't know, probably Friday, and then my hair's starting to get long again too. So
yeah, I wasn't gonna say it. People have been talking.
Have people been talking?
Yeah, it's all over Twitter. You were trending yesterday.
Really? Wow, it's crazy.
Very upset about
that, and you in a Pikachu costume.
Man, I guess I can beat out a Lamar Jackson cryptic tweet, which we got about 20 minutes ago. So,
oh my gosh, again?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, can we talk about that? Is he doing another home gym?
He has to be.
Well, he's also doing the ice bath interview thing with Kevin Hart. It looks like.
Oh hell yeah, good for him.
So, because he posted that on his Instagram, he during the offseason he gets involved in some stuff, which is cool. So. I don't know. He posted a video, the when the Lakers were playing the Nuggets, and LeBron did the I'm so scared thing.
Is that about the Bengals?
I don't know what it's about. I put out a tweet. I said one guess. If you had to guess, who or what is this about? And people are saying maybe the rule changes because those got proposed today. Bengals, that's a popular one. Stephen A. Smith, LeBron beef. Creighton over Louisville. People picking Creighton over Louisville could be what's going on here. So, lot of options.
Do you think he knows that everyone's like?
Yeah, that's why he did it.
For sure. Do you know the power?
There's a possibility that he legitimately just did that for no reason. Just because he wanted to see what people would do.
Do you know how much of a menace I would be if I was a professional athlete and had whatever Lamar? How many followers does Lamar have? Has 1.2 million followers. You know the absolute menace I would be on social media. I do it with 40,000. With my. By the way, I have Aaron Rodgers highlights loaded up for when he signs. I'm so excited.
From college.
No, college.
Then I don't want it, Kev.
Well, the thing that you have to factor in is also like the NFL ticker on the bottom. So, you see Greg Jennings on the field, and then you have like Buffalo Marshawn Lynch. That's like the perfect combo for those.
That is. I agree, but also I would love to see a little Aaron Rodgers in Cali. Maybe get the clip of him with the super confidence in one of those interviews off the field with the reporter.
Yeah, where he talks about the trophies or whatever.
Yeah. Bring that back. There you go. Giving you ideas, man.
Yeah, look at that. I think my best one of those was the Bo Braid high school highlights.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
People loved that one.
People love it.
No negative comments at all on that one.
Never. People never have negative comments on social media. But you know what also people are fired up about, Kev? You know what they're fired up about? I'll tell you. March Madness is here. And it got going. And actually, again, we opened it up. But we are going up to Charlestown Races, Hollywood Casino up in West Virginia.
I like mouthing it, Kevin. That was good.
Yeah, I would have screwed it up.
So we're going up there tomorrow because why? Round of 64 kicks off tomorrow, Thursday. Maryland plays at 4:15. Eastern time. And speaking of Maryland, we're going to have Gary Williams join us for the show up there. We're going to have maybe a couple other guests later on, Ben Verlander being one to talk baseball. But, Kev, we're going up there. Apparently, guys, we might be giving away some Gary Williams signed memorabilia.
Ooh. Could be fun.
So you got to be tuned in tomorrow to have a chance to win that. And again, roughly around 12:30, we'll go live. It's really the best 2 days. If you are a casual basketball fan, this is the best 2 days. You need to watch this. Every year you circle this. I know people that have events just for this, to go and just watch basketball games. So, Zach, because I know you are dialed in, what's your lock upsets in the round of 64 here on Thursday, Friday?
I know it's maybe not the I just love the attention they're getting. I think there's this chip on their shoulder. Do not be surprised if we see UNC in the Sweet 16. They have gone nothing but received hate for being in this tournament, for being picked over WVU and everything. Everything on the timeline, reporters are blatantly, I saw John Rothstein called it a miscarriage of justice, which was an incredible quote, because then he had to, less than like 24 hours later, interview Herbert Davis and the UNC Tar Heels after they just won by 45 or something last night. There's something brewing in UNC. There's something brewing in Chapel Hill. And I'm telling you, I also, Brooks, I do love Yale. I just think, just give me all the offense from Yale. But I'm telling you, UNC, they're the team that nobody wanted in this thing. Everyone said, they don't belong. Those are the dangerous teams. They get confidence. You're literally playing with house money. And if I'm Ole Miss right now, this is I'm kind of on the thing where 14 SEC teams in the tournament. I think the SEC kind of gets exposed for not being as great as they were sought to be.
Well, then why is that? Because the SEC is it's overrated.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. On the when we're making our bracket, Rocco decided to throw in the SEC just means more.
How far did Georgia make it in the bracket?
We eliminated them first round.
Oh, and now we wonder why Nick doesn't come in the studio.
That's the reason, actually. I don't even know if Nick knows what basketball is. Just kidding.
He doesn't know Georgia has a team.
Yeah, he might not know that yet. He's a good kid. He knows that he would know if they had a golf team.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm with you on UNC. I mean, they came out hot last night. They look like a team that could get going. And quite frankly, they were a couple mistakes at the end of that Duke-UNC game away from beating Duke and going to the championship. Now, again, no Cooper Flag. But I'm excited, man. I'm just curious, who's going to be that real high double digit, like the true underdog? Yale, yes, could be one. But are we thinking – I know for a lot of Maryland fans, you're hoping it's not Grand Canyon.
Don't be Grand Canyon. Please don't.
No.
If the Crab Five go out like this, it's going to just be such a horrendous taste left.
There's no way, right? There's no way.
Grand Canyon.
We'll find out.
We're going to find out. We'll find out Friday at 4:15?
No, Thursday, tomorrow.
No, right? Terps play. I think Terps play on Friday.
Really? I swear they were tomorrow. Oh, I lied. It's the 21st, so that's Friday. Well, perfect.
Wow.
Go Terps.
Go Terps. So
Terps.
You don't have to be that team.
You can enjoy your Thursday. We'll still be nervous for Friday.
Exactly. That is actually what I'm excited about. Is we can
actually just watch the madness up there on all the screens.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing is being able, first of all, you have the dual screens, but then having the scoreboard with the rotating games that keep you up to date. That's the nostalgia I have from that is unreal.
I just want to be Stan Van Gundy tomorrow with when it was Furman, Virginia last year. Mm-hmm. Was it Furman?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he just grabs, doesn't say a word, just grabs.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kevin Harlan, somebody, whoever was next to him, just grabs, doesn't say a word. Looks like he lost the bet then because Furman drills it.
That was one of the worst.
Kevin went nuts. Kevin Harlan went nuts. Unbelievable call. That was one of the worst turnovers I've ever seen in my life, given the fact that they also had a timeout.
They were up by 6 with 8 seconds. That was peak Virginia basketball of just finding a way to ruin everything. Virginia has a very specific skill set where it is very nice and polite of them to let you know pretty much in the first round if they're going to go to the Final Four or getting eliminated, because there's no in between with Virginia. They're like, we'll lose to the 16 seed UMBC, but the next year we are going to win it all. Like there's no in between. They either go on a run. Last year they scored 42 total points in their game. Virginia is very good at letting you know very early if they're going to just be a one and done or if they're going to make a run.
I agree. I also will throw out, I saw there with Laura, I do like Drake.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think that Drake can make a little bit of a splash. But that's what we love about it. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, Kevin, but we know you are going to be doing stuff that, whether you like it or not, around Hollywood Casino. But we will be up there 12:30 to rock and roll. March Madness, Gary Williams coming on. And Rick, I just saw this. I will check in because that was supposed to be sent out to you. If not, I'll make sure we have the correct things. And for Steve, I have a little added thing in for you for the Gridiron Golf, by the way. Thank you for your patience, but also I think you'll be happy with the extra thing that's added in for you. So, guys, we hop back in now to a little bit of our baseball coverage before we kind of get close to, figuring out what we're going to be doing. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Kevin?
What?
Welcome to the show, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Okay. Well, let's get into a little bit more around baseball because this is kind of an interesting conversation because we did know that this was very possible for a long time, and it felt like it just seemed the most logical outside of the team that he ended up going to. We're talking about Alex Bregman here. And Alex Bregman on Foul Territory today not just alluded or was rumoring that what happened. No, he blatantly said just how close he was to not being a Boston Red Sox and the team he was going to join, a team that made a good run in the AL Central last year. So let's play that clip, Zach.
Going into it, I went through it, never been a player you were. Was it what you expected? Or, just being real, because me personally thought you should have got everything you thought you deserved. How was it for you actually?
It was kind of crazy. Honestly, met with a lot of teams, and then honestly, everything just happened in like the last 30 minutes. It was kind of rapid fire. We thought we were going somewhere else the entire time.
Yeah.
And then in like the last 30 minutes, we talked to Boston, and the deal got done. But no, I think it was definitely different than I expected. But it was a good process, and I'm super thankful to be here.
All right, where did you think you were going? You said it.
I knew you was going to ask you that. I was going to let him have that.
We thought we were going to be in Detroit the entire time, honestly. And then at the last second, Boston kind of came in.
So that really summed it up right there. I think it put to rest all the speculation because we were saying the whole offseason, if it's not Boston, which I thought was the best landing spot, which they swooped in at the end, why not Detroit? Upcoming team has some good pieces built off of last year and the momentum, just like in the, American League East, at least right now. But overall, it's anybody's division except the White Sox. That's, you can make a case for every other team, the Royals, the Guardians, the Twins. Can all make a run.
Yeah, the Central's sneaky.
It's a sneaky division here. That's why going back to the American League is going to be, I think, the most unpredictable it's probably been in a while. We talked earlier about how good the Dodgers were, and when you look at their staff and their talent, it's undeniable. But in the American League, there are teams that are good. I don't know if there's any team right now going into the season that I would say is great, clear-cut favorites anymore, Zach. And the Tigers, though, it's interesting. Bregman would have really kind of changed the perception of how we viewed Boston and how we'd view Detroit. But for right now, Boston had that big upside, and they're looking like a team that, yeah, they can challenge to win the East. They can challenge to win the pennant. But Detroit's still a really good team. I'm fascinated on so many levels on what is going to transpire here for this 2025 season.
I think you put it well. It changed not only the way we view Boston, it changed the way we view Detroit. I think if Bregman ends up going to Detroit, Boston does not get the hype of, hey, they can win the AL East. I think they are getting now. I think people are saying they're a wild card team. Now suddenly, yeah, it's so wide open, and Boston goes and they add a Crochet, they add a Bregman, and suddenly it's like, oh, Boston could win it all. Whereas if he goes to Detroit, I don't know if we're saying Detroit could win it all, but we're going, oh, Detroit is set up for the next 5 years. That's more of where I would see Detroit going, is that's just that veteran bat that helps the young guys out. I don't know if it makes them competitive in a pennant sense right away, because, I've given my spiel about Detroit. I'd like to see them kind of continue their hot ending of last year before I fully buy in that they are this legit pennant team. But if you would have added Bregman, you get Jack Flaherty back. Suddenly you're sitting there and you're like, oh, Detroit. Yeah, Detroit can go win the Central, So yeah, this changed just kind of how we view, I think, everything, especially in the American League, because if Alex Bregman would have gone back to Houston, it would have changed how we viewed Houston right now. So yeah, that's really interesting that he even brought up that he's like, no, the entire time we thought we were going to Detroit, because Detroit was kind of viewed as like that. It was like, okay, it's Astros or Boston, and if both of them flail out, he's going to Detroit. Whereas I guess now we're realizing maybe he was like, yeah, I'm going to Detroit. And then it seems like last second, Boston was like, okay, we'll give you what you want. And he was like, boom, I'm there.
It's interesting too, on the different sense, Corbin Burns is waiting for Arizona just to match what he wanted. So he's just sitting there being like, all right, Arizona, just need you to get there. In this case, it was Detroit got to probably a place he was comfortable, but wanted to see if, hey, is there another team that's going to make an offer? Or, Boston, you want to come get me? Well, they did. And now, obviously, that created a little bit of a stir with Bregman and Devers. And Bregman later on talked about he'll play any position to help that team. If they figure that part out and they can move past it, that's going to be a dangerous lineup. They got some really young pieces that are going to be at the big league level. That to me, them and the Orioles are going to rival when it comes to young talent. That's going to really be a problem for the next 5 years, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But for now, baseball is next Thursday is going to be the official opening day back in the States. One other note with the Central, which is a big loss, Royce Lewis is going to miss the start of the season. Another injury, hamstring, going to be out for a little bit. If you guys don't know Royce Lewis, unfortunately, right now, it's like that what if of how good he can be, because he's a stud, former top pick in the draft. Played against him a little bit in spring training in the minors, has every tool imaginable, but it's been one injury after another. And ironically, they have another one on that team for the Twins, Byron Buxton, guy that I played in the Under Armour high school game with. The Twins having Royce makes a huge difference. So right now, honestly, if I was looking at it, Guardians and Royals are probably the top two teams that I feel comfortable, but I am not sleeping on Minnesota or Detroit, just given how wide open it is. But Kevin, I will sleep on the White Sox. I know you had them penciled in.
I did. I actually did.
Don't
disrespect the White Sox.
About Royce Lewis. Unfortunately, Royce Lewis is what's probably going to end up happening this season. And I hate to even put this out there, but it's unfortunate if you follow his career path, it's what's going to happen. He'll come back from injury. He'll probably hit 7 home runs in a 10-game span. And then he'll have a freak. None of them ever make sense. That's the most. We've seen him, in collisions at first, and he misses months. We've seen him running to first base. He misses months. He swings weird and misses. Like, it's just. I tweeted out earlier this year, and unfortunately, it's not going to happen. I said I'm just praying the baseball gods leave Royce Lewis alone for one singular season, because, like you said, Ryan, he has every single freaking tool that you want, especially out of a power hitter. Just such an incredible talent that the game is better when he's playing. I mean, the highlights he has alone in just the few games he plays a year is unbelievable. If this guy could somehow stay healthy, like just one season, we're talking about probably a top 10 hitter in baseball.
He's a top talent if he stays healthy. But just like we've seen, injuries happen.
Yeah.
And again, goes to show you this is not just in Baltimore, the injuries piling up. It's all around baseball. So we'll continue to dive more into the American League as we continue on. But the AL Central is going to be a very, very tough division. I still think the AL East, until further notice, is still going to be one of the most competitive. It just year in and year out is. So don't sleep on the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays. And obviously out west, we'll talk a little bit more about the teams out west tomorrow. We're talking about the likes of the Mariners, the Astros, the Angels, and why am I blanking on and the A's? I was going to say, I was trying to remember where they're located. The SAC. The SAC.
The A's, White Sox, ALCS is going to be absolute cinema.
Screw that. I want it to be Athletics versus Rays. Let's just keep alternating minor league stadiums.
Wow. That'd be something.
Yeah. We can you're out in Sacramento on what did they say? It gets like up to 117 degrees on the field in July. That's going to be fun. Talk about a home field advantage if you can get used to that, though.
The issue is it's not home field advantage for anybody. It's literally not.
If you could just somehow adjust to being like we're miserable when playing out here because of how hot it is, and you at least like mentally are prepared for it, it'll give you. I guess maybe it'll give you something when other teams come into town and they're not used to 116 on the field.
Oh, you're right. You're right about that. No doubt about that. You are exactly right about that. The A's, man, could be an exciting team.
They're trying.
They are trying. And also mention injuries. We can talk about that later on. Jared Jones getting the second opinion on his elbow.
Why?
And also young pitcher. And we're talking about investing players. This is the hard thing for market value for guys. And he was one of the best upcoming talents there, and pairing him with Paul Skeens. So hopefully we'll get better news for him. We'll find out later. I did want to mention, maybe we'll save it for tomorrow because I saw Ben Verlander talk about it. Ron Washington just implemented a no cell phone at your locker policy. Brett Bollinger, actually, your cousin.
No cell phones at the.
There's actually a reporter, though, by the way, Brett Bollinger, same last name.
Oh, really?
Yes. Beat reporter for the Angels said the Angels just instituted a new rule where players are not allowed to be on their cell phones at their lockers.
That is the most Ron Washington rule I've ever heard of because he is just such an old school manager. I love
Mike
that.
Trout and Zach Neto both said it's worked out great so far. I'm actually for that. When you're at work, focus on work. I like it.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Like, I feel like that's one of those things where right now it's like, yeah, everything's working. It's going well. And then like maybe they, start off well and stuff. And it's like, okay, like this is going well. I really like this. The second that first 3-4 game losing streak hits, that's when we're going to find out what people think, what the players think about that rule, because whether it's public or not, I'm sure that, what was it last year? Quickest players only meeting in MLB history, after game 2, against the Orioles, the Angels had a players only meeting. So let's just hope it goes better than that for the Angels. The bar is low, as long as you're not having players only meetings after game 2, it's progress,
baby. But that could be a whole different conversation. I think that's actually great. When you're focused in there, be present in the locker room. It's different if your responsibility is being a media member, obviously. When you're a player and they want you to focus on that, and that's my employer, and I'm going to make a good amount of money, hey, I'll follow that rule to a heartbeat. Or to the heartbeat, to the beat of the drum of whatever that organization wanted me to do. But to your point, the Angels are trying to change their culture, and that has been a tough thing for the last years. They couldn't win with Trout and Ohtani, so they got to try to have something else, right? So I digress. A couple other notes, Kev, around here. to take a quick trip. First off, Kevin.
Yeah.
No, that's it. First off, what I actually want to talk to you about is, have you seen these jersey combos? We haven't seen jerseys getting released by MLB teams. The Royals released their baby blue powder jerseys.
Oh.
And the Houston Astros released their City Connect.
Yeah, let me find these.
Yeah, the baby blues were nice.
Those are sexy. Those are sexy. I gotta say, huge fan of those. I'll be honest, the Orioles all orange, I don't know if I love the all orange. I think it's solid.
I like them.
It's a throwback type thing.
But like the baby blue popped for me. That popped. And the Houston Astros added their City Connect there, which I think will be good. See, like that's icy. Like that is
that's
just
nice.
Looks good.
It's such a nice. Yeah, I like it.
That might be one of my favorite.
I mean, I'm also powder blue is like
Can
one
you
of my
go
favorite
wrong?
colors. No, you can't. It is very hard to go wrong in a powder blue. And this looks good. This is exactly what was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's it for me. That's the best alt jersey I've seen so far. And I'm not talking about like an alternate. The Orioles black uni, that their regular black uni, I like that one, but I don't consider it a full alternate like that. Like that's full alternate for me. That gets the people going. The City Connect for the Astros, I thought they did a good job. I think I have it saved
I got
here,
it right
Zach.
here.
You got it? Let's pull that up. I don't mind it.
I don't either.
It's not,
If they took away the sleeves, maybe like the orange and blue on the sleeves, I feel like that's a little extra.
Yeah, just Stros. I like the Astro, the old school Astro.
Yeah. I like everything but the sleeves, like the sleeve cutoff.
Like that right there, actually, maybe because he's wearing a blue undershirt. Jordan wearing that looks pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, I like the Stros. I like that they went with that. Are they doing more City Connect? Is that like the thing again? Don't they? Because every team was wearing them for, I think it was 2 seasons. And then they have to roll out new ones. So I think that's what they're doing. I don't think the Orioles are wearing City Connect this year. At least the other ones. I think that's what the all orange replaced.
Yes.
Could be wrong. Oh, got rid of Kevin accidentally.
That's okay.
There we go.
There he is. Kevin. Hey, Kev, you got any notes for us or things that are going? Well, I was going to say what's going through Kevin's mind.
Don't know if we need
We
that.
don't need that one. Hey, what's going on in the NFL sphere, Kev?
NFL sphere, Cam Robinson just signed with the Texans, so CJ Stroud will hopefully not be fighting for his life again next year. We have Lamar and his cryptic tweet. Calvin Noy had some nice things to say about Lamar and Derrick Henry and the Ravens and Steelers rivalry. I think that's all. I guess the rule changes are the big thing. Have you guys talked about those?
Not yet. Are you
No,
talking
we have
about
not.
specifically that the Packers made it official that they want the tush push gone?
Oh, yes. So that was one. They made that official. I know that's pretty controversial, but there were a couple others that were put out there. So the Packers did ban the tush push. The Lions did remove automatic first down for defensive holding and illegal contact penalties. So what that would be is instead of getting 5 yards and a first down, it'd just be 5 yards, no automatic first down.
For defensive holding, it's just a 5-yard penalty now.
Yeah. Because usually you get the first down with it. So they're saying, hey, take away the first down part of that.
Interesting. I will say it's the most back-breaking penalty when it's a 3rd and long.
Yep. 3rd and long. I guess
4th down, or you need something. But also, when the ones that are egregious, like an egregious hold to not let up a big play, that's where that's actually going to matter more. You can just grab hold of someone that's close to within 5 to 10 yards. They'll call that more of a holding than a pass interference.
Yeah.
Right? Usually.
Yeah.
If you maul the guy.
Right. So, I mean, and it's very up to, like, I guess that's a judgment call. If you want to call it holding or pass interference or whatever that is.
I think they would honestly start calling more pass interferences. I think they would lean in those big situations.
We need to get Dean Blandino back on to talk about this.
Yeah, we should.
And there was another one from the Eagles that says the NFL should make the overtime rules in the regular season the same as the playoffs, so both teams get possession.
Doesn't that get proposed every single season at this point? I feel like
last couple of years, I think there have been iterations. Yeah,
it's just every single year they propose that in some sort, but it's all the same rule. Because usually it's the Bills. Did the Bills? Did the Bills put anything about automatic first down markers or whatever?
They put analytics, or they put the
sky cams or whatever to the chip in the ball. Weren't they trying to get that?
Robotic umpires for spots.
Yeah, but this one, the one that I'm about to say, might be the biggest one of them all, and this is something we talked about.
Is it what the Lions also did? I agree with this one.
The Lions proposed that they should allow wild card teams to be seated above division winners.
Yeah,
that's the big one.
Better record.
Better record.
I understand having you win your division, you get a spot automatically. I like that. I like it just solely in the fact of when you have like last season where the NFC North had like 3 teams have like 13 wins, 12 wins. Yeah. And then you're sitting there, and then I think it's interesting. I think that's one that I would genuinely look at, kind of like the NBA style where it's no longer, okay, who won their division, you get a top 4 seed. It's if you're the best in the conference, that's how we judge you off of.
So last year in that case, the Packers and the Vikings both would have had home games.
Yeah.
And the Eagles would have been the other team, and obviously the Lions get the bye. So that would be the Rams would have been on the road.
It would have been Rams on the road. It would have been
Commanders.
The Bucks on the road.
Commanders were on the road. They were at the Bucks. So it would have been Bucks, Commanders, Rams, 3 teams on the road.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think the big controversy with that is like, and again, some divisions are harder than others every year, but like, I don't think that should constitute because, one year the AFC North might be the best division. Then the next year, the AFC North might be terrible. Like, I think that there's enough parity in divisions every year where teams that would say, oh, we play in the NFC West like that. Let's just say the NFC West had like 4 God teams. Like, oh, that's so tough. Why should we be punished for playing all these good teams twice a year? But there's parity enough to say the NFC West could have 4 awesome teams one year, and then they could all be terrible the next year. So I like the way the NBA does it.
Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I would say this. I'm cool if a wild card team can have a higher seed. But how about this in this case? They get the higher seed, but if they face that team head-to-head, the winner of that head-to-head game would get the home field. So, like, say the Bucks are 9-7, and the Commanders have the better road record, but the Bucks beat the Commanders in the regular season.
Yeah.
Maybe give them home field advantage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away from – I think it is important that you win your division. I don't want that to ever be undervalued. I guess in that case, it's not undervalued because it gives you a playoff spot. But we'll see. I'm just curious on how the game is going to continue to change. But the penalty one to me that's by far going to be the biggest game changer of all. How many times have we seen a holding penalty keep drives alive? Of everything to me, that is the number one that is going to be stirring the pot. I could care less about the tush push. Either way, I don't care. You want to keep that? Great. If you want to get rid of it, great. I think you keep it. You don't like it, play better. But just draft Jalen Hurts if you want to make sure you get 20 rushing touchdowns or whatever he's had in the last.
Yeah, just the 1 yard push touchdowns. It's free.
Tush in the push.
Push. There were a couple of others. There was one more actual rule change. Detroit just does not like the way the NFL runs, apparently. They have 3 of the 5. They said add 1 IR slot to the 90-man during the offseason. So I guess just have the ability to put someone on there to bring another guy in during the offseason, not be punished for, because, usually what it is, if you put someone IR before the season starts, they're done. They can't come back. So that's one. And then apparently 3 teams proposed resolutions. The Steelers said allow teams to have one video or phone directly with a prospective free agent during the free agent contact period and allow teams to arrange travel for the player, the city during the contact period, as long as the travel does not occur until the new league year. 7 teams said allow teams to prepare kicking balls before game day like other game balls. Because, we heard the story with Nick about how they
have like 30 minutes to.
Yeah, we heard Nick talk about that during the year.
I'd love to hear his opinion.
Would love
on
to
that.
hear Nick.
Yeah. And then Washington said allow postseason teams to credential scouts at week 17 and 18 of all potential playoff opponents and allow all conference playoff teams to credential scouts in the wild card round.
So pretty much they just want to be able to scout everyone.
Just be able to.
Just send them tickets.
Just
get Connor Stallions. Just send them.
Just
the
jump
ticket.
up and scout now. A little bit softer now. A little bit louder now. Jump up and scout, Kev, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, up and scout.
My day was yesterday.
Do you even know that song? Like the actual song?
Jump. Come on. It's shout.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
better.
I was going to say jump was not.
What? Yeah, you don't go,
Put your hands
jump.
up and jump.
Yeah, put your hands.
Well, what do? You could jump. You could. Yeah, you go, hey.
Yeah,
hey,
but
yeah, I
that's
know.
the part where everyone's assuming you're jumping when you
Put your hands up and jump.
Like everyone, you just
Yeah, see, you know what? That should be what it was. It should have been that.
I don't think. Okay, now I'm actually a little bit softer now. 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 A little bit louder 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 now. Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey,
hey, hey.
Now put your hands up and jump.
See, it works.
No, it's so freaking bad.
It doesn't work.
It's so bad, Kev. You're a good kid. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button still. We appreciate you guys. We like to have a little bit of fun here on some of our down moments. We've covered a lot so far. Is there anything else we really wanted to get in?
I think we covered all the things that we were like, okay, here's what we'll go over.
And we did. We found out that Kevin doesn't know.
He just wants to jump. He doesn't want to shout. He just wants to jump.
Like you're getting.
Why waste your voice when you can show people? You jump.
Yeah, but you put your hands up and shout.
It's like a burpee. You put your hands up and jump, right? You know the burpee grind.
I do know the burpee grind. You see this? You think you get this by, doing burpees? No, you get better results if you do more burpees. But, Kevin, that'll be one of our challenges upcoming here. Now, I think we covered almost everything. And, look, we had a long day tomorrow. A lot. Might as well jump. Put your hands up and
jump. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm trying to think. That is actually a great wedding song. It's a great wedding song. I requested 8-minute long shout.
It should be the only song that plays.
No, not the only song, Kev, but it should be a song that needs to be celebrated. It's a phenomenal song.
Yeah, it is.
Anything else?
Kevin, just jump around.
Yeah, see, jump. There are some legendary songs.
Kevin just wants to yell, shout around. He's gonna just mix them up.
Yeah. Wait, it's not shout around. No.
Shout around.
Shout
around.
Oh, we're gonna have some music components added into the show, but we can't fully divulge that yet. But we have a few segments starting next week that I cannot wait for us to unveil. Actually, 2 of our new segments are going to be joining next week for the record. So just to give this lowdown to end the show, we are going to run Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, around 2:30, except for tomorrow, because we'll be going to 12:30 up at Hollywood Casino. But we are going to add in a food element, a cocktail element, and you guys can look forward to seeing that next Wednesday. Will be the unveiling of one of those. And then Thursday's opening day. And I think everyone probably can use a cocktail for that time of hour.
Opening day is already a week away. Well, like kind of a week away. That's crazy.
It really is bananas. BANANAS. Cool. Because you know what? For tomorrow being a long day, we might have more time to actually call in while we're actually at Hollywood Casino.
Yeah, and we also have to get stuff set up.
We kind of have to pack up to get everything, but
pack the studio.
Pack Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to the case. Huh?
Pack your fish. We're going to Disney.
Which should we do? Featured. This is a chicken, or it's actually a rooster, or maybe it is a chicken.
Okay.
All right.
So I think that is a perfect way to end.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
I wish that there was still. I might have to go put some Deep Eddy in this little hand grenade. But spring training is almost done. Oh, Kevin.
Wait, roosters don't even gobble.
Well, I can't decide if it's a rooster or a chicken.
Chickens don't.
Well, can you tell for us? How can you tell them apart, Kev?
Zach's right. Turkeys are the ones. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Well, what do we think? Is it a rooster or a chicken? Which one? I think it's a chicken.
Looks like a chicken.
I think it's a chicken.
And look, hey, Brooks is getting on us with this. Remember,
we got the call-ins tomorrow. We have time.
Also, and Brooks is acting like we spent some quality time together. I think we spent quality time together. But clearly it didn't mean that much to Brooks to remember.
Crazy.
Talk about big leaguing.
I know. Did my first ever espresso martini mean nothing, Brooks? Like, come on.
Honestly, that it felt like
we had gotten in.
It's like we weren't even there.
We had gotten in, and that was what a night.
We were like 2 hours removed from getting there.
That was not a night. The first night was. Yes, the first night happened. I just remember being in that bar and they had this random 2018 Tampa Bay Buccaneers game on. And it was like me and Kevin just kept looking up and we're like, is that Jameis Winston? It was like Jameis Winston versus. It was the most random.
I think it was, like Russell Wilson Seahawks.
Yeah, it was the Russell Wilson Seahawks. What a time.
Crazy.
Oh, goodness. Yes, but, maybe we'll have to do that again, but only one of us will remember.
That was spring training. That was a
long time ago.
Yeah, that feels so. Does not feel because I guess it's 2 weeks ago from tomorrow that we got there.
2 weeks ago tomorrow, and next week is when opening day kicks off. And we have so much baseball content coming your way. And no, we are not. Will have the call-ins. And if you missed this before, also the Kevin and Zach Reacts, we are getting it set up for call-ins every single. Are you guys gonna do every single show for the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Opening day, we're probably gonna come back here.
Yeah, we'll figure something out, but we will be live for every single game. We'll figure out how often we do. Yeah, post game. We'll figure out how often we do call.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be dealing with cat things. Sometimes Zach's phone will be at 3%. The whole 9 yards.
Every day.
But a lot of times here, and apparently we've changed. The group
we've changed. We have. Season 2, new us.
Season 2, we will have call-ins tomorrow. We will mark it on the calendar.
Yeah, put it down.
Put it down on the show. We just got a small group here that we got to continue to work with. But guys, as always, hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. And should we cue the music? as always, here at the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Guess what? Since we're doing this 3 times a week, we'll see you tomorrow up at Hollywood Casino, Charlestown Races in West Virginia. March Madness is upon us. Have a day, have a night, and we'll see you in just about 14 to 16 hours. See you guys.